I never imagined I'd spend Easter dinner in a hospital waiting room with champagne soaking through my blouse and blood sliding down the side of my face. But there I was, texting my attorney 4 words. Phase 1 is complete. Let me start over. My name is Rebecca Lane. I'm 63 years old, retired from my financial consulting career for 3 years now. My husband, Mark, passed away 5 years ago from cancer, and since then, I've been living alone in our 3-bedroom home in Boulder, Colorado. It's a quiet place. We bought it back in 1992 for $165,000. Now it's worth close to $2 million. The neighborhood has changed. Young couples everywhere, remote workers, the kind of people who put solar panels and smart doorbells on everything. My daughter, Danielle, is 32, works in pharmaceutical sales, makes good money. Married to a man named Brandon. They have 2 kids, Eli and Sophie, 8 and 6. They live out in Longmont, about an hour away if traffic behaves. Comfortable suburban house, nothing unusual. I see the grandkids maybe once a month, sometimes less. Easter Sunday started normally enough. Danielle called me Tuesday to confirm I was hosting dinner. I always host holidays. It's tradition. Mark would have wanted that. I spent Saturday preparing rosemary chicken, roasted carrots, and Mark's favorite honey-glazed rolls from his handwritten recipe. I even bought chocolate bunnies for the kids. The house smelled like roasted herbs and warm bread. It reminded me of easier times. They arrived around 3 in the afternoon. Danielle's SUV rolled into my driveway. I watched through the kitchen window as they unloaded backpacks and jackets. Brandon was holding a bottle of champagne. Fancy label. He only brings fancy things when he wants something. Learned that over the years. "Mom," Danielle came in first. Gave me a quick hug. Stiff. Performed, not felt. "House looks great." "Thanks, sweetheart." "Kids, say hi to Grandma." Sophie and Eli ran over. Thank God children don't fake affection yet. They showed me their Easter art projects, told me about the egg hunt at school. Normal grandparent moments. I needed that today. Brandon kissed my cheek. "Too much cologne. Rebecca, thank you for having us. This champagne is from Napa. Supposed to be incredible. You didn't have to bring anything." "Oh, I insist." He set it on the counter with a little smile, the kind that doesn't touch the eyes. We moved to the living room. I'd already set the dining table with the good china, but Danielle wanted to talk first. That should have warned me. Danielle never wants to talk. She's always glued to her phone, complaining about sales targets, venting about coworkers. Today, she was focused, present, glancing at Brandon every few seconds as if rehearsing a script. "So, Mom," Danielle began, "Brandon and I have been talking about your situation." My situation. Living here alone. Big house. It's a lot for one person. I kept my tone even. "I manage fine. House is paid off. Maintenance is minimal." "But you're getting older," Brandon added. He sat forward, elbows on his knees. "We worry about you. If you fell or something happened, no one would know. I have my phone. Neighbors check on me." Danielle and Brandon exchanged a look. A coordinated one. Here it comes. "We have an idea," Danielle said. "Brandon's parents just retired last month. They sold their place in Reno. They're looking to relocate, but the market is brutal right now." "That's nice for them." "They're great people, Mom," Danielle continued. "Active, healthy. His mom was a physical therapist. His dad ran a woodworking shop for years." I nodded, waited. Brandon jumped in. "We were thinking, you have those extra bedrooms you never use? What if my parents moved in? They could help around the house, keep you company, and honestly, it would ease the financial load for everyone. They'd pay rent. You want your parents to move into my house. It's perfect, Danielle said, her voice lifting. You wouldn't be alone anymore. His mom could help with cooking and errands. His dad fixes everything, and we'd all be closer. I looked at Danielle. And what do you think? I think it's logical, Mom. Smart. You'd have support. They'd have a good home in a great area. Win-win. Just then, the oven timer beeped, saved by the noise.
"Dinner's ready," I said. I walked to the kitchen, closed my eyes a few seconds. Breathe. Stay calm. This was exactly what Harrison, my lawyer, predicted. We'd prepped for months. 3 months ago, my financial advisor called. Someone had tried to infiltrate my investment accounts. Didn't succeed, but got close enough the bank froze access. They used my personal details, birth date, Mark's middle name, my mother's maiden name. The digital trail pointed to Danielle's home IP. I didn't confront her. Instead, I contacted James Harrison, the estate lawyer who handled Mark's will. Sharp man, background in elder exploitation cases. He knew exactly what this looked like. "Rebecca," he said over coffee at a Starbucks near his office, "I see this pattern constantly. Adult children get impatient about inheritance. They test boundaries, suggest helpful living arrangements, start poking at finances. It escalates." "What do I do?" I asked. "We protect you, and we document." Over the next 3 months, Harrison guided me through everything. First, a full cognitive evaluation with a geriatric specialist. I passed easily, documented proof of full mental competence. Second, we rewrote my will with airtight structure and multiple witnesses. Third, we created a living trust with strict conditions. Fourth, and Harrison's idea, we installed discrete cameras in my living room, dining room, and kitchen. "If they're planning something," he said, "they'll slip eventually, and you'll have evidence." I checked the chicken. Perfect. Glazed, golden. I plated everything and called them to the table. Dinner began pleasantly enough. Kids chatting, Danielle talking about work, Brandon complimenting the food. All scripted politeness. Then Danielle brought it up again. "So, Mom, about my in-laws, have you thought more?" "I have." I set down my fork. "And I appreciate the concern, but I'm not interested in housemates. I value my privacy, my routine." Danielle's smile faltered. "Housemates? They're family, Mom." "I barely know them." "But you have all this unused space," she said, irritation creeping in. "2 empty bedrooms and a bathroom you never touch. What's the point?" "That's my business." Brandon leaned in. "Be reasonable, Rebecca. You're 63, living alone. What happens at 70 or 75? Then I'll hire help or choose assisted living on my terms." "Those places are outrageously expensive," Danielle snapped. "They're safer than strangers moving into my home," I replied. Brandon laughed once, humorlessly. "Why waste money when family could live here?" "Because it's my money and my house." Silence. Sophie's eyes widened. Eli kept playing with his chocolate bunny, oblivious. "Kids," I said softly, "why don't you two go watch TV?" They hurried out, sensitive, perceptive. When they were gone, Danielle's mask dropped. "This is unreal," she muttered. "Your selfishness. We're trying to help you, and you're acting like we're asking for your will early." I stayed steady. I said no. That's a boundary. Danielle stood abruptly. Her face was flushed. Anger, not wine. "Do you know our mortgage? Childcare costs? We're drowning, and you sit here in $1 million house acting like a queen protecting her castle." "I'm not protecting anything. I simply live here." "Alone?" she shot back. "Dad's been gone 5 years. When are you going to move forward and think about someone besides yourself?" That one hurt. I didn't show it. Brandon tried to calm her. She shook him off. "My parents helped us buy our home. They babysit constantly, and now they need somewhere stable, and you can't offer 2 empty rooms?" I said no. "Why?" she shouted. "Give me one reason." "Because I don't want to." She grabbed the champagne glass. In one sudden, sharp movement, she flung the contents at my face. Cold fizz hit my forehead, soaked my blouse, splattered the wall. The glass struck the table edge and shattered. A shard sliced above my eyebrow. Warmth. Then blood. "Danielle!" Brandon yelled. I rose slowly, touched my forehead. Red. I looked at my daughter, shaking, shocked by her own rage. Then at Brandon. "I think," I said quietly, "I need the hospital." "Mom, I'm sorry, she didn't mean." "Yes, she did," I cut in, "and I need medical attention." I walked to the bathroom, pressed a towel to the cut. Not deep, but messy. I studied my reflection. Blood, champagne, Easter ruined. I returned to the dining room. Danielle was crying, Brandon trying to console her. The kids watched from the hallway. "Please leave," I said calmly. "Take the kids home." "Mom, we can talk." "There's nothing to discuss. Your wife assaulted me." I grabbed my keys and walked out. Got in my car, headed to Boulder Community Hospital. At a red light, I texted Harrison. "Phase 1 is complete." He replied instantly.
"On my way to the hospital. Don't contact Danielle. Document everything." The emergency department on Easter Sunday was busy, but not chaotic. A nurse took one glance at the gash on my forehead and got me triaged quickly. While I waited, Harrison arrived. 50-year-old man, salt and pepper hair, always wears polished brown leather shoes, like some relic of old-school professionalism. He looked at the cut above my eyebrow and exhaled sharply. "Tell me everything," he said. I walked him through the entire dinner, every exchange, every glance, every rising tension I could recall. Harrison typed notes into his phone. "The kids?" he asked. "They took them home, I'm assuming." "Good. Leaving was the right move. And the cameras?" "They should have caught everything." He nodded. "Rebecca, I have to ask, do you want to press charges?" This was the moment. We had studied this scenario from every angle. If the situation ever reached physical aggression, we had options: assault charges, protective orders, but they would destroy whatever was left of the family bond. "Yes," I said, "I want to press charges." Harrison nodded once. "I'll call the sheriff's department." Within the hour, 2 deputies arrived at the hospital, a male deputy and a female lieutenant. Professional, calm, thorough.
They took my statement, photographed the injury, collected my champagne-soaked blouse for evidence. Then they asked if I felt safe returning home. "I do," I said, "but I want a restraining order against my son-in-law." The female lieutenant nodded. "We'll file the assault charge first, assault with a deadly object, in this instance, the glass and contents. Given your age, there may also be considerations under elder mistreatment statutes." "Elder mistreatment?" I repeated. "You're over 60. He's a family member. State law doesn't take that lightly." They left to file the paperwork. A doctor finally examined me, cleaned the wound, applied liquid stitches. Minor injury, no concussion. I was discharged around 8 p.m. Harrison drove me home. The house felt hollow, dark, silent. For a moment, I half expected Danielle standing on the porch, but no one was there. Inside, Harrison said, "Let's check the footage." We went to my office. I pulled up the security feed, 4 camera angles, living room, dining room, kitchen, entryway. We watched everything. Danielle's agitation rising, Brandon's escalating tone, the moment he snapped, the champagne glass, the impact, my measured exit. "This is gold," Harrison said. "Clear audio, clear visuals, unmistakable aggression, and you stayed calm. They appear volatile, unhinged." "What now?" I asked. "The sheriff's department will investigate. They'll question Danielle and Brandon tonight or tomorrow. Brandon will be charged. You'll need a protective order. It'll be straightforward with this evidence." "And Danielle?" I asked quietly. Harrison paused. "That's more complicated. She didn't physically hurt you, but we need to address the deeper issue. The account breach." "Exactly." He leaned back. "I think they were escalating towards something more serious. Your home, your finances, that absurd suggestion about his parents moving in. Classic warm-up. Establish residency, then claim you can't live independently. Push for power of attorney, maybe even guardianship." My stomach tightened. "You really think Danielle could do that?" "I think Brandon absolutely could, and I think Danielle is overwhelmed enough to follow him." We sat in silence. "What do I do?" I asked. "We go on offense. Tomorrow, I'll file a formal complaint with your bank and the sheriff's department. Financial exploitation of an older adult is a crime. Meanwhile, we strengthen your estate documents, ironclad language. If Danielle contests the will or tries anything manipulative, she forfeits everything." "What about the kids?" Harrison softened. "We'll create education trusts for them, separate from Danielle's inheritance. Managed by an independent trustee, they'll receive the funds at age 25, guaranteed." That felt right. The children didn't deserve to be casualties. Harrison left around 10 p.m. I sat in the quiet living room with a bandage on my forehead, dried champagne on my collar. The Easter decor looked ridiculous now. Pastel eggs, artificial tulips, celebrating rebirth while my family relationships withered. My phone buzzed. Danielle. I let it ring. Then voicemail. Then a text. "Mom, please call me. Brandon feels horrible. We need to talk." I powered off the phone. Monday morning, the sheriff's office called. Brandon had been formally charged with assault. He was released under conditions: no contact with me, surrender of his passport, mandatory appearance in court. Danielle called Harrison's office 16 times. Harrison ignored every call. Tuesday, Harrison filed the financial exploitation complaint. The bank froze my accounts temporarily for investigation. We needed to prove the login attempt wasn't mine. Thankfully, that day I had been at a physical therapy appointment, recorded timestamps and all. Wednesday, deputies interviewed Danielle. According to a contact of Harrison's, Danielle claimed Brandon had only been checking in on my finances, said he was worried about my mental clarity. That phrase, mental clarity. Thursday, Harrison and I appeared before a judge to request a restraining order. We presented the footage, the assault charge, the attempted financial breach. The judge granted the order immediately. Brandon had to stay at least 100 meters from me and my property. Danielle could visit technically, but only with 48 hours notice, during daylight hours only. Friday, my doorbell rang. I checked the camera. Danielle stood alone on the porch. I opened the door, but did not invite her in. She looked exhausted, messy hair, puffy eyes, trembling hands. "Mom, please, can we talk? Your notice period hasn't passed." "I'm your daughter," she whispered, "and the restraining order, there has to be a way around this." "There isn't. And remember, the order is against your husband for assaulting me." "He's sorry," she said desperately. "He was stressed. He drank too much. He didn't mean to." "He meant it," I said evenly. "And you stood by and let it happen." She flinched. "I tried to calm him down." "Not hard enough." I stepped outside, closing the door behind me. "Danielle, do you understand what the two of you were attempting? We were trying to help you. You tried to access my accounts without my consent. You tried to pressure me into housing your in-laws. You called me selfish for wanting privacy in my own home. That is not help. That is control." "You're overreacting," she whispered. "You're paranoid." I pulled out my phone and showed her the cognitive assessment. Perfect scores, recent date. "I'm not paranoid. I'm competent, and I've decided something important." Her face paled. "What does that mean?" "It means I updated my will. You're still included, but only if you respect my boundaries. If you contest it, accuse me of incompetence, attempt financial manipulation, you receive nothing. Your children have education trusts that will be untouched, but you and Brandon will need to manage your own lives." "You'd really cut me off?" Danielle whispered. "You tried to cut me off first, over 2 empty bedrooms." Her mouth moved, but no words came out. Finally, she said, "Brandon's parents lost their deposit on a rental because of this. We were counting on living here." There it was, the truth. "You were counting on living here," I repeated softly. "Not them." She didn't correct me. "Leave my property, Danielle." "Mom." 48 hours notice, through Harrison's office. Those are the conditions. I closed the door. Through the window, I watched her stand motionless for several minutes. Then she walked to her car and drove away. That was 6 months ago. Brandon's assault case went to court. He pled guilty, received a conditional discharge, probation, and mandatory anger management counseling. The elder mistreatment element was noted but not separately charged. His attorney argued it was a one-time lapse driven by stress, uncharacteristic. The judge didn't fully buy it, but accepted the plea. Brandon received 2 years probation. The financial exploitation investigation dragged on longer. Eventually, deputies concluded it was attempted fraud, but declined prosecution due to the family relationship and the fact that no funds were accessed. The bank flagged his information. He will never be able to interact with my accounts again. Danielle sent me letters, 5 in total over 6 months. Apologies, justifications, explanations of their financial stress, her job struggling, childcare costs overwhelming them, Brandon's parents truly intending to help. It all sounded tidy on paper. But I remembered her using the phrase mental clarity. I remembered the login attempts, the pressure, the entitlement simmering beneath their help. I never responded. Last week, I booked a trip to Scotland. 3 weeks. Edinburgh, the Highlands, Isle of Skye. Mark always dreamed of going. We never made it before he got sick. I'm going alone, and I'm at peace with that. The house feels different now. Not empty, peaceful. I joined a book club at the senior center, started taking watercolor classes, met a widower named Patricia. Gentle sense of humor, kind eyes. We get coffee sometimes. My financial advisor says my investments are steady. The house keeps appreciating. I am stable, safe. A few days ago, a drawing appeared in my mailbox. No return address, but I recognized the handwriting immediately. Sophie. A picture of me with her and Eli at a playground. Little hearts drawn everywhere. I miss you, Grandma, written in purple crayon. I cried for an hour, but I did not call Danielle. She wants the children to be a lever, emotional currency, and I won't allow it. Harrison says when Sophie turns 18, she can choose to contact me. We'll have coffee. I'll explain everything. She'll understand, or won't. That's nearly a decade away. I'm 63. I might have 30 more years, or 3. But however long remains, I'm living on my own terms, under my own roof, with boundaries firm and unshakable. Sometimes family means the ones who love you without conditions. Sometimes it means the ones who love you with conditions, if you give them what they want. I chose myself after decades of choosing everyone else. And you know what? I sleep just fine. The house is quiet, the doors are locked, the cameras are recording. And every morning, I wake in my own bed, in my own home, living my own life. That isn't selfish. That's survival. If you're dealing with family pressure, adult children who believe they're entitled to your home, your savings, your life, document everything. Hire a competent lawyer. Set hard boundaries. Don't guilt yourself into surrendering your independence, even to your own blood, especially your own blood. In the end, you owe no one your peace, not even family. Maybe especially not family.